I'm going to do one more for you, which is the next one, which is, what's the next verse? Al-Hamdu Lillahi. Go on. Rabbil Alamin. Okay. How do we usually translate that one? What translations have you seen of that?
All praise be to Allah.
Yep, good, excellent. All praise
Be to Allah.
be to Allah,
Lord
Lord
of
of
all the worlds.
all the worlds, all you threw in and all. Okay? That's not necessarily wrong, and we're going to see that. Anyone else seen any other translations? Go on, Ark. Anyone else got any?
Belongs to Allah instead of be.
Good. So instead of be to Allah, belongs to Allah. Fantastic. Well done. Anyone else seen anything?
Just praise be to Allah.
Oh, good. Not necessarily all praise, but just praise. Okay? So notice and all these are right. Okay? And so when we translate, we have to limit. And so we're interpreting when we're translating. So let's go through it. What's really interesting here is, so Allah starts, and this is very important sides as well, how do we link the verses in meaning? How are they relevant? Allah wants us to ask this. So everything comes into being through Allah's name. He's the most merciful, the most kind, whatever that means. Obviously, you can't translate what we just went through. No. How do you encapsulate that in 2 words? It's impossible. Now, how do you experience mercy? You experience mercy through experience. So, for example, I remember when I was a kid, my dad said to me, finish your food on your plate. I say, why? I'm full. And he went, think of the kids in Ethiopia. And I go, okay, I thought of them. I'm still not going to finish my plate. Okay. I've never met an Ethiopian. I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know what they've experienced. However, if then my dad says, right, you're getting on the plane, and you're going to Ethiopia, you're going to spend 3 months with them, and when you come back, you're going to finish your plate. Do you think once I've gone through that experience and seen what they've gone through, would I finish my plate then?
Yeah.
I hope so. Because when you've gone through an experience, then you can relate to it. But if you've never related to it, then you don't understand on earth what he's going on about. Why? Okay, I'm full. Why should I eat anymore? Okay, because I don't know when my next meal's coming, for example. So here we go. We link when you experience Allah's mercy in your life, both the obvious, and then this is even more profound, when the most subtle points of mercy become manifest to you, you just go, what do you say? Well, you could do that one as well.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Because this is an interaction. Now, Allah's mercy is basically you're feeling Him in your life. He's not a God that I've got to get to Him. This is a big problem. A lot of people psychologically, they think, well, I'm not good enough as a Muslim, so I can't have a relationship with Allah until I've got a fist-length beard, I'm praying all my prayers, doing all these things, and then I'll experience God. That's not true. Allah's closer to you than your own. What? You can experience Him right here, right now. You're just not opening yourself to the experience, that's all. And so, when we experience Allah's mercy in our lives, on a tangible, experiential level, we just go, the hamd comes from here. And hamd, 3-letter root. What's the 3-letter root of hamd? Ha, mim, dal. Which means, linguistically, it means to experience something that makes you feel whole, whereby you can't hold it back and you've got to get it out of you. So that's really alhamdulillah. Not the two, I call these are the two alhamdulillahs that aren't really alhamdulillah. How you doing, Faizan? Alhamdulillah. Yeah? That's the first one. Okay, where basically your body's not telling me alhamdulillah. Okay? The second one, how you doing, Faizan? You say, well, I've got a sore throat and I've got all this alhamdulillah. You know, the preaching alhamdulillah now. You shouldn't be complaining, yeah. And so it's not in tune with the actual experience that you're going through. When you experience Allah's mercy, it comes from here. So you just say alhamdulillah. And the question we ask here is, why did Allah not say Lillahi alhamd? Why did He not bring Allah first? Because usually in the Arabic, if we want to say something specifically for someone, so this is so Yasmin, for example, I say Yasmin's book. Yeah, someone tries to play around with your book on the first day of your lesson and say, nick it off you, and say Yasmin's book. So I want to emphasize that it's Yasmin's, not the focus is not on the book, the focus is on Yasmin. Does that make sense? Your name is Yasmin, isn't it? I've got it right here. So you'll notice in the other verse in Fatiha, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. You alone we worship. Why did Allah say that? Why didn't He say we worship you? Why didn't He say you alone we worship? He brought the you first at the beginning to say specifically Allah we worship, no one else. And so you'd think it'd bring Allah first here to say praise is only for Allah. But the focus is not on Allah here. The focus is on the experience first. And when you experience it, then you can experience Allah. So until you have so for example, people who have had a rough life, they've gone through a lot of difficulty, a lot of them end up being very bitter towards God, don't they? Say, why God, why does God do this to me? He can't exist. He's, all this cruelty, all these things I've been through. People go two different ways. Some people connect more to God because of that difficulty. Other people completely dismiss God. Okay. And so, but when you realise His mercy, now you can connect to Him. But it's got to be through an experience first. People don't have positive experiences in their life. They generally have a difficulty attaching to God, connecting to God. So experience, then it comes out, and then you realise, where did this come from? This experience I went through, who gave it to me? It was Allah. Okay, so the Muslim footballer, when he scores a goal, he doesn't jump in the crowd and say it's me. What does he do when he scores a goal? He goes straight into sujood to thank Allah for that. That's it. He ascribes it straight away to God. Now let's break this down. Alhamd. You said all praise. You said praise. Well, there's this al here in Arabic, and you don't need to know this at the moment. What's al usually translated as? The. Okay. So it actually literally means the praise belongs to Allah or is for Allah. Okay, we'll deal with that afterwards. So you say the. Imagine if I come into this room here and I say Bashir, the cat has weed all over the outside and ruined the furniture. Now if I say the cat, what are you going to ask straight away?
Which cat?
What on earth? What cat are you talking about? Why are you saying the cat? Now I'm assuming if I say the cat, what?
I know which cat.
Exactly. You know what cat you're talking about. Okay, we've obviously had an interaction with the cat before, so I know what cat you're talking about. And so what on earth is this hamd then? Two ways of looking at it. It could be the hamd that you've actually experienced just now. So me drinking that, having that bowl of ras malai. The praise belongs to Allah for that ras malai I just had. Oh, that feels good. Okay? So that's linked to something that you've actually referred to. Or if we go really deep and spiritual, we could say, before Allah created the creation, and then He created creation, they don't know the praise that He is deserving because He's the uncreated, He's their master. There's no way they can fathom how much He deserves a praise. That's like when we send prayers on the Prophet ﷺ, we don't send prayers on him. What do?
Salutation.
We ask Allah to do it because we don't know what He's fit, what He's deserved, what praise He deserves, because He's beyond us. And so we ask Allah to do it for us because Allah knows His Prophet a bit more than we do. So we don't know how to praise Allah because we don't know everything we might miss something out in our praise. So He says the praise that I praise, so He praised Himself, Allah, says the praise that I praise myself with, you use that. So the praise that Allah praised Himself with, that's what belongs to Allah. Okay, does that make sense? So that's two ways of. So we could translate it as the praise, or we can translate it as all praise, because al can mean all the details, all the praise you can think about. That belongs to Allah. That's another way of looking at it. Or it can be generic. So we sort of praise as a category. Okay, like for example in Arabic we actually literally say the love is beautiful, but in English, if we want to speak in general terms, what do we say?
Beautiful.
Love. We just say love. We don't put definite articles. We don't say the before these things. We don't say the democracy. Okay, we just say democracy. In Arabic, we define it, and that's generic. So you can translate it all three ways. And then we come to the next thing, lillah. That can translate as for Allah, belongs to Allah, or specifically for Allah. That's three meanings of li, lamb. Okay. Notice Allah's in the state of jar as well. It's got that zayd on there, so it's coming down. But notice hamd has got a dhamma. The dhamma is more prominent because the hamd that you're praying, that thing that you're experiencing, is prominent in your eyes, and then you're bringing Allah down to understand that experience, if that makes sense. You're like realizing through the experience that you had that it belongs to Allah. And so you're connecting the creation to Allah, as if Allah's coming down metaphorically in order for us to engage with Him. Okay, does that make sense? So even the vowels have significance. Then, Rabb. What's Rabb translated as?
No.
Lord. That's not. But the essential meaning of Rabb is to take a liquid and solidify, if that's the right word, solidify it, harden it until it becomes durable, until it becomes like resilient and firm. And if you think about man, he was a fluid, and then he becomes harder and harder and harder. And through life, Allah is taking us through experiences, through situations, and those, if we can just persevere and have determination to get through them, it makes us what? They talk about this in schooling now, don't they? That we have to have resilient children, resilience in children and so forth. So Allah is putting us through all situations. He's the Murabbi. He's the one that's making us more and more resilient, hardening us up in order to deal with the challenges, and each one will be a greater challenge. That's the essential meaning of Rabb. Okay. So and the idea here is that He's constantly with His creation. So He's not a God that created the world and then just left it to it. If it weren't for Him taking us through every second, every stage, which is a means to draw us nearer to Him and make us stronger, then it would cease to exist. Notice as well, it's clarifying who Allah is. Just like who is Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Because God, people have different conceptions of God, don't they? If I say God, some people have some wacko perceptions, others have a more correct. But so we come with terms to clarify who He is. And here, who is Allah? He's the Rabbul Alameen. And the Alameen, I don't even know how to translate that word. Okay, it's very difficult to translate. It comes from a three-letter root. What's that? Ain, Lam, Mim. What's another word you know? Well, that's just throwing them out for you. These are previous students, so don't panic. Okay, ilm. What's ilm mean? Knowledge. But it doesn't mean that, essentially. Ilm is something that marks something when you're lost, so that it leads you to your destination. So an alam is in modern standards they say it's a flag, but really, say you're going to Ben Nevis. Let's say Ben Nevis, okay, which I've heard is a bit more difficult to trek than Snowdon, they say. Okay, I've not been there myself, but there you are, Faizan. You're leading your family or your guys, and you say, "Oh, I've been here before. I know what I'm doing," and then you get lost, and then you're walking and say, "You don't know where you're going, do you?" And you're still blagging it basically, and you say, "No, I know where I'm going," and then suddenly you see something that marks this way up, and you go, "It's this way." And then, "Oh no, I knew what I was doing." And then, "No, you don't. You just saw that. That's an alam. It's a marker that points you towards something that comes from outside of you. It's not from you, and it's on a high as well, as if it's leading you up to take you higher and to transcend. And so that's knowledge. Imagine that's a concept of knowledge. It's not yours. It basically just comes to you in order to guide you. Okay, and so that's the concept of knowledge. Now this comes from that root, and it's on the form alam. And alam is a tool. Alam means a tool by which we know something. And that refers to the whole of creation. The creation is a tool, sorry, excuse my southern accent, tool, T-O-O-L, is a tool in order for us to know what? God. It points to the Creator. The world itself, the word world means an indicator, something that points to the knowledge of a Creator. That's what it means. So really, alam means all creation. Okay, then it's put into the plural. There's a nuance there. It's a created being that has consciousness. And what we're seeing now is even in the plant world, it has a consciousness itself. Okay, it knows what it needs. So when the sunlight comes, the plant actually moves towards it, doesn't it? Everything has a consciousness. So that's all in that. Okay, and notice here, this is clarifying who Allah is. Oh, whoops. This is clarifying who Allah is. This is the creation. And this is the praise for the creation, which links back to the Rahim, the mercy. And so between creation is Allah Himself. Okay, taking care from the beginning to the very end. Okay? So that, I hope, gives you a bit of an appreciation for what you learn in the course. That's the focus of the course. I try to make it like Imani, each lesson. Why is this grammar point relevant? What's that pointing? What's Allah through this language trying to indicate to us? So that you walk away from every lesson with a bit of a bit of an Iman booster, and you realise, wow, this language. Basically, that's what I want. I want people to go afterwards, go, wow, this language is awesome. Okay, and so that's your motivator. You say, I need more of this. I need another fix. Yeah, you're waiting for your next spike next week. Okay.